Okay, Mishlei Vav 14:6. Bekius Leitz chochmah va'ayin v'da'as lenavon nakal.
A Leitz.
Yep.
Actually, I mean, all right. A Leitz questions chochmah.
Does not question
Does
chochmah.
not question.
Seeks chochmah. Yeah, bakash does not mean to ask a question. It means to ask a request.
Bakasha. Oh,
yeah, right. So a Leitz, which we will translate as a scoffer, seeks
Bakasha. That's what.
wisdom. Okay, v'ayin.
Actually, I don't even know.
There isn't.
And there isn't. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it normal, and it isn't there. Okay. V'da'as lenavon nakal.
And the knowledge of a Navon.
Da'as linavon.
The das of the Navon.
To the Navon.
Man, I'm really rusty from the cinnamon market.
Don't blame him. And and knowledge to the Navon, okay, which is we'll just say for a man of understanding, nakal is easy. Yeah, let's just say is easy, even though the problem means comes easy. Okay, so Sadigon, I was actually bothered by this. That what's the literal strict translation of Bekius? What's the conjugation? No, the conjugation, like past, present, future. Past tense, right? Okay, yeah. I don't know. I can't explain why, but I don't. Bakash is not a thing. I don't think, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah. So I was looking at the translations. It looks like nobody translates it as past tense, but I just want to point that out. Okay. So Sadigon, though, I noticed it first with Sadigon, he puts it in the future. Okay. Yivakesh haleitz es hachachma v'lo yimtze'ena. The Leitz will seek the wisdom, and he will not find it. V'hayedia lenavon nakal. But the knowledge is easy for the Navon. Okay. Targum says, I did forgot to look this up. By mimikna chochmasa v'les v'yediasa leman demizbayin zalila. Okay, I'm actually gonna not look at that right now. I forgot to look it up, so we're just gonna. I don't. I mean, Zol is cheap. I guess we could look it up. I thought it was just. Yeah, that's a different Zolel. Yeah, that's a Hebrew Zolel, right? Zlila. Let's see. Zlila with an aleph is light, easy, insignificant. Yeah. So I guess it's not the same word. And then what was the other one? Mimikna. I think that just means to acquire. I'm just gonna look it up though. I don't even know if that's gonna be its own entry.
Yeah.
Oh, good question. Oh, so maybe Mikna is a Leitz? That'd be weird. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna set aside the targum. I'm not supposed to do that right now. Okay, so that hold on a second. Sorry, we're just gonna forget about the targum. Our scroll says the scoffer seeks wisdom, yet there is none. But wisdom comes easily to the understanding one. Okay, that's pretty much what we wrote. Refresh didn't have a translation here. A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, yet knowledge comes easily to a man with insight. Okay, and then Alter goes with your favorite translation of a Navon. The scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, but knowledge for the discerning is easy. Okay, all right. So we'll just. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of focus on definitions here today, right? But let's just move this here. Hold on. Okay, good. So I don't. So in 2022 in the spring, we went through all the pasukim about Leitz, and we did it like Bekius style with the goal of understanding, like putting together a portrait of the Leitz just from the pasukim. So hopefully you can contain your memory from. Okay, good. Yeah, because I don't remember what we said. Yeah, question.
It's not like it's pasha, but it seems pasha.
Well, which part?
The whole pasuk.
Oh, okay. I don't think the whole pasuk is pasha at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the opposite.
Yeah.
Since when does the Leitz seek?
Right, that's the major question. Since when does the Leitz seek chochmah?
That's like the thing he scorns.
Yeah, right. That's the thing he scorns. Right. So this pasuk is anything but obvious. If you said the second half is obvious, it's more obvious maybe, but not the first half.
Well,
Sorry, you want to defend your question?
The premise of my question is that the Leitz never seeks chochmah.
But that's not what the pasuk says.
I mean, the pasuk says
He seeks it.
a Leitz seeks wisdom, and it isn't there.
Yeah, he's seeking it. He's just not getting it. And the question is, why is he seeking it? That's not consistent at all.
Doesn't that imply that
that he does
seeing it? I'm saying he's not seeing
Isaac's question is, why is he even seeking it in the first place?
if he doesn't see it.
No, just why is he even interested in seeking chochmah? He's not. They shouldn't be interested in chochmah because all the other pasukim indicate that he's not interested in chochmah.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. My point was like he's seeking it, but he's not seeing it because by definition he doesn't want to see it.
Isaac is asking on the premise of your question, which is so you start to say he's seeking it but not seeing it. So start the sentence. He's seeking it. Stop. Why is he even seeking it?
Because he may want it, but he's not.
No, well, why does he want it? He hates chochmah.
Okay,
right.
Fine, but that's different than seeing it.
Forget the seeing it. This is a question. Just pretend we just had these two words: Bekius Leitz.
Okay.
Bekius Leitz chochmah. Okay, right. So you're asking on the word ba'ayin. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying what even starts him off seeking it?
Okay, he may want it.
No, that's the question. That's the question is why does he even want it?
Okay, but that's not what I'm focusing on.
I know that's not what you're focusing on, right? But I'm saying the question of okay, this is a methodology point here, okay, right? The Ariel question of this seems obvious is a question that can be asked on psukim that seem obvious. If they're not obvious, you can't ask that question.
I mean, to me, it kind of seems obvious.
Okay, so then you're missing something fundamental here. Okay,
it's possible.
Yeah, think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess the relevant point is like background is that I think part of the definition of a Leitz that we've seen so far is that he
hates chochmah.
He hates chochmah. He's not interested in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And so then if he's not interested in it, then why is he seeking it?
I'm not disagreeing that he's not going to seek it. I'm just pointing out that he's not going to see it.
No, but the pasuk says he is going to seek it. That's the problem.
But the pasuk says it's not there.
Or your question's a step afterward.
Yeah.
Second is your question.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah. No.
I just happen to have an idea already, an intuition already from my question.
No, okay. All right. You're not convincing me. You're not convincing me that you're not missing a just reading the words. I think it's not just an intuition thing. So think about it. Yeah, Ezra. Yeah.
Why is it not there? Like, where is it?
Okay. Yeah. So why is the chochmah not there? Okay. Why can't he find it? According to Sadion. Yeah, David.
Okay. Just translation question.
Yeah.
Definition questions. For our translation, what is wisdom and what is knowledge? And then for Rosario, what is the chochmah? What is the
Okay. What is the definition of chochmah? Or according to Sadi Gaon, which chochmah? Okay.
He has the chochmah
Yeah.
and the wisdom.
Right. And then what is the definition of da'as? Or according to Sadia Gaon, which das, right? Because he says Moshe.
Yeah, so I guess a similar question.
Yeah.
Is that which the Leitz is looking for what the Navon has?
Okay, right. So let's say, what I'm going to broaden the question slightly. What is the relationship between what the Leitz is looking for and what the Navon has? So the reason why I'm asking it this way is because just in terms of the way that the puzzle is formulated, it sounds like it. Okay, actually, let me ask you a clarification question, which is, are you talking about is the chochmah that the Leitz is looking for the das that comes easily, or is it chochmah that the Navon already has like previously?
More on the first.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay, so that I would say seems we're going to go in with the premise that das and chochmah are two different things, but but there definitely is a possible implication that the Navon already has chochmah. Like this is just like the basic Mishlei move of like you can make inferences from one half to the other. So the unstated second half is the Navon. Not only does the Navon look for chochmah and find it, but das also comes easy to the Navon. And then with the Leitz in the first half, it is the Leitz looks for chochmah and doesn't find it, and certainly das does not come easy for him. Yeah, right. So I think it's still a good question though. Yeah, Ezra.
What does it mean that das and the knowledge is easy?
Yeah. Okay. So what does it mean that das is easy for the Navon? Right. What does it mean? And then I'll just add here what makes it easy. Yeah.
So I guess I don't have such a formulated question, but I'm thinking about the fact that we talked about chochmah as one level, and then bina,
right,
next level, and then das like the third level.
Right.
And it's like the Navon is getting das, which is the next level.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly have it.
Yeah. So for our purposes here, let me just show you in how that Mishlei definitely conceives of it in those three ways. In that order here, which is in Mishlei 3. In the second half, it says 19 maybe. Yeah. It says Hashem b'chochmah yasad aretz konen shemayim bitvuna v'da'ato tehomos nivka'u ushchachim mirafa'u tal. So Hashem founded the earth with chochmah. He establishes the heavens with tvuna, which is the same thing as bina, unless you're the Malvin. V'da'ato tehomos nivka'u ushchachim mirafa'u tal, and with knowledge the heavens were cleaved. The depths were cleaved and the heavens dripped with dew. Do you remember what the other pasuk is about building the house? Yeah, yeah. I just don't know where that is. So that's same with chochmah. One builds a house. With tvuna, he establishes it, and with das, he fills all of its rooms with all precious types of wealth.
We definitely did it last year in the morning.
Yeah, last year in the Tess Aleph. No, that's
I think we had it toward the end of last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right,
I never took it earlier this paragraph. Or
there it is.
Yeah.
24:4. So premise that we're working with here is that that's the order. Okay, well, I don't know order of what, but chochmah, and then somehow higher or later is bina, and somehow higher or later is das. Advertisement for Thursday's shiur. Okay, Thursday is not shiur for you guys, but the women's shiur is Pirkei Avos shiur. We're going to be tackling the extremely difficult Pirkei Avos 3:19 clause im ein bina ein das im ein das ein bina. Okay, which is the one of the places that I would think that you would find answers to the question of what the relationship is between the two. So it's possible that everything I'm going to say now is just going to fall apart when I give that shiur, but we'll see. Okay, hold on a second. I didn't write the question yet. The question was, say your question again, or your not formulated question.
There's these three different terms.
Yeah.
That are all different, but I guess the essence of my question is, how is das easy for the Navon?
Yeah.
Because that's the next level.
Okay, so in order to translate your vague, I want the vague part of the question to capture that. I'm just going to say, because I think your other question is included in 6. So I'm going to say is what does this let's put it this way. What is this pasuk assuming about the relationship between chochmah, bina, v'da'as, and what is it teaching? Okay, what are we supposed to go in here already assuming, and then what do we see from that? And it's not even clear, what is the premise, what's not. Yeah, Ariel.
What is a Navon?
What is a Navon? Right. Okay. So what is the definition of Navon?
And also, is Mishlei's definitions of chochmah bina das the same as how we use it in Tefilah and Bekius?
It's a good question.
Or is it
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm going to just parenthesize that question here, which is like how universal is Mishlei's
You may not necessarily need to throw this idea out for if you
right. That's true. Right. Yeah. Is Mishlei's usage of this terminology? Yeah. Right. Yeah, I might be using it a different way. Okay. Yeah, David.
For Ezra's question 7, does the pasuk, is it suggesting that the Navon doesn't have to put in work or have to be Bekius dot and it just comes to him? Because the first half has Bekius,
okay, right.
And then for the Navon side, it doesn't have much.
Right.
Kind of passively comes.
Right. How does it come to him? Okay, the pasuk doesn't say that he seeks it. So does this imply that it just comes automatically or naturally? Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of the fantasy of you just learn enough when you're like one of the Rabbanim, like later years now in yeshiva. And just like you just open up the Gemara and then
right. Their eyes glow.
Yeah.
They just go like that, and then
but then like once you're not.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Definitely, that fantasy never dies. Yeah.
So I don't remember. Did Mishlei already define chochmah? Did Mishlei define it?
Did Mishlei define? Well, I mean, definitely in the introductory prakim, then it's talked about a lot. Yes, but even from the first pasukim. Yeah. Okay. Did you have one? Did I see your hand? No.
No.
All right. Because Leitz chochmah v'ayin. So we didn't ask what the Leitz is, right? What is the definition of Leitz in this context? And we have to because Leitz is one of the few personality types that is explicitly defined in another pasuk. We have to, I don't know if we have to, but it's advisable to just reread that one pasuk. You remember where it is? Oh, okay. I want to say it's 21. Yeah, it's 21. Yeah. Zaid Yahir Leitz Shemo Osed Be'evra Zadon. So the Zaid, which means the person who is, like from the word Zadon, the willful or willfully evil, and Yahir and haughty or arrogant person. Leitz is his name. Oseb Ever Zadon. He acts in the wrath of Zadon. Okay, so the two qualities here, and this seems to be pretty universal. I don't see I could really argue with the thing that says like Leitz Shemo. Is that the two defining qualities of Leitz are some sort of like aggressive malice, maliciousness. And then Yehirus is arrogance. So that's just so we still should ask what is the definition, or let's just say, or what nuance is this adding to the definition? Yeah, Moshe.
So for the ayin, it's not there. Is it that he can't find it, or whatever he's looking for doesn't exist?
Okay, right. So I'll just is it? Why can't he find it? So is it just not there, or is what he's looking for not findable because it doesn't exist, right? Yeah.
Or
yeah.
There's another possibility, which is that it exists, but he's not able to see
it. Right, or it exists, but he's not able to see it. Yeah, David? Okay, yeah, Ezra?
Just on what you just went there, what's the difference between it not being there and what he's looking for not findable?
Somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come on, for.
Yeah.
But he never finds it.
Yeah, no, this reminds me of the quote attributed to Confucius. I feel like I said this year, that it's difficult to find a black cat in a dark room, especially when there's no cat. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. V'da'as l'navon nakal. Yeah, what's the subject of the pasuk? What is the subject of the pasuk? Right. So like this could be teaching us something about the nature of knowledge. It could be teaching us something about the Leitz, about the Navon. Also, I want to understand here. This is kind of in, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna actually make question 6 even broader. What is the relationship between the two halves of the pasuk. Pasuk. Okay. Pasuk. Okay. How? Not a good switching day. How are the two halves opposites? Right. I don't even know. If you ask me what's the opposite of a Leitz, I wouldn't really know. And if you ask what's the opposite of a Navon, I wouldn't really know. So yeah, it's not one of the classic pairs. It's not that they have to be, it's that most psukim that have a good half and a bad half are opposites. So you walk in there with that assumption, unless you find out not otherwise. I think we had
to be contrasting them in some way, you know.
Right. I think we found a Meiri last year that said not all psukim have to be opposites.
Really?
Yeah, it was in a Monday night shiur because I remember being very shocked by it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the general approach that many meforshim say in the beginning of Mishlei is that the classic psukim are opposites. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you the audiences.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll also ask the practical question. So who is the intended audience, and then what is the practical decision-making insight? Do you have another one?
I have an idea.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let's make sure we got all of them. Yeah. Okay. All right. You have an idea. You have an idea first or definitions first?
Idea.
Okay.
But I think the definitions may come.
Yeah.
Even though that's not I don't like that approach in general. But
Okay.
I just
All right. Fine. Go ahead.
Right, so maybe I think maybe it's talking about the character of the Leitz and the Navon and how their character can distort chochmah and Navon.
Okay.
All right, I think that the reason why he'll never find it, even though he's seeking for it, he may seek his own idea of chochmah that may apply for himself, but because it's not like the objective chochmah in the world, he'll never find it because it's not in line with reality.
Okay, so you're saying he's not even finding. So he's certainly not finding the objective one, but you're saying he's not even finding the subjective thing that he's looking for that's created by his own distortion.
I'm not even defining chochmah as like this grand idea. It could be facts.
Right.
It could be simple facts.
Right.
That he's trying to look for to support, something, but because he's so distorted within his framework, like even the facts themselves are not in line with the true objective,
right?
The objective reality.
Okay, so let's explore that in a second. I just want to fill in a premise here that Ariel is saying. I know you're not committing to this premise, but in general, we see chochmah, bina, and das. Chochmah is defined as knowledge that is received. I think Rashi says it early in Mishlei, or we will call facts here. So he says. Yishma Chacham V'Yosef. So yeah, Chacham is Zebal Shmua, is someone who has heard knowledge, right? So it's like he's receiving from other people. And then the Navon is I guess that's Musaf. Musaf al Chacham. He is superior or in addition to the Chacham. Shiodea lahavin davar mitoch davar umosif al shmuaso. So he can derive one principle from another and he adds to his chochmah. Yeah. So yeah.
Sorry.
No, so yeah. So what Ariel was saying about the chochmah here is even something like chochmah, which is the lowest level, he's not going to be able to find because of some way that his own character distorts it. So we have to understand what that is.
Yeah. The greatest example in our contemporary lives are the pro-Palestinians, like the hospital. But the hospital,
right?
They immediately found a 2-second raya that it was the Israelis who blew up the hospital.
Right.
But that's not even chochmah. That's not even a fact because we know that it was really good and we have evidence supporting it.
Okay, right. So this is actually this raises a new question. Okay, which is let's put it here. How absolute are these statements? Okay. Does this mean that the Leitz definitively cannot ever find any chochmah, or is this just a hyperbolic way of saying that that he's not good at it? Okay, right. So okay, yeah, no, I think that's a fair question. So let's say for example in this case with the the that you just gave, that you see that there are certain people that when it comes to certain areas are completely incapable of finding chochmah, but in other areas, then they can find it, and like, is that, is there, when the Leitz looks up a recipe online, can he is it going to distort his knowledge of that, or is it, a certain,
I'm just wondering if you were to ask your average pro-Palestinian about this fact, what would he say about the fact?
Right.
Would he really, with all the evidence, would he admit that, I was wrong?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know, but maybe in an area, to answer the question, maybe in an area that he is so distorted by, the facts would help. But cooking, if he's passionate about cooking, maybe it will.
I saw this is a side point. I just saw this came up in my YouTube recommended things. The Shah of Iran, who I forgot when he died, but this is a video in 76 or something like that. He was being interviewed on CBS, I think, by some very famous reporter. I recognize his face, but I forgot. So the guy was asking him about his opinion of Jews, and so the Shah of Iran starts listing off these like protocols of the elders of Zion type things, like they control the banks, they control like the news or whatever, So then the CBS guy says, "Wait a minute, are you saying that like they control all the news?" And he said, "Yes, I'm saying that." And then he said, the reporter says, "So like my reporting is being controlled by the Jews?" And then the Shah like backtracks. And then he asks him, like, "Are you really saying that like journalism is just like not objective and the Jews are just, And so the Shah says, and I guess I would say to his credit, he says, "We would have to line up all of the articles and then see if there is this pattern." And he says, "And you could use a computer to do it," which I thought was pretty good for 1976, And so it was very interesting because like on the one hand, he is not just turning off his mind, but on the other hand, he is opening, like he's still open to the possibility that like they just control all the news, and so it's just interesting.
I don't know.
Right. Ezra?
Kind of to add to Arnold's idea. Using the definition of the Leitz from the pasuk that we saw. Where he is like a sinner, let's say. Because he sins, when he tries to find chochmah, he's gonna realize like it's gonna like work against him. It's gonna be something that he doesn't want to see.
Right.
And because of that, he's getting distorted.
Okay. That's good. Okay, right. So in other words, that's explaining why he distorts it, which is that there are certain things about either, again, I'm still not decided about how absolute the statement is, but like certainly there are huge areas of chochmah, let's say in chochmah Torah, right? That like, because he doesn't want to change and because he is, he wants to preserve his ability to engage in zadon and yehirus or whatever, then it's going to automatically warp whatever he learns because those things are antithetical to like what he values. All right, that's good. Isaac.
I think our idea was similar to that in like another dimension.
Okay, don't say it yet because we haven't really said about the second half yet.
I don't remember what we said about the second half.
Okay. Did you have an idea for the second half? I just forgot.
No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
First positive.
All right. Fair enough. So let's develop this for and see if we could see what the opposite is for the second half.
So what I'm saying is another facet of what is
the
saying, which is that like it's either that he's going to distort it or he's going to reject it because it's not in line with what he is.
Right.
Right. That was that's good. That we said.
Okay, that's good.
That he's like he's like giving it like an honest try. And then it's something that he doesn't like, he doesn't agree with, and so then he like mocks it and rejects it. So there was no chochmah there.
Right. It's funny, the imagery that came to mind when you said that, I think because you said giving it an honest try is there are little kids that like the parent will make them try stuff, but the parent has been so like there's a certain bad way to make a kid try stuff, and the parent, you can watch it sometimes, the parent makes the kid try it and the kid like touches it to their mouth and then has a disgusting reaction that's clear that he's not even reacting to like the particular taste, he's reacting to like the kiyum of the like making me try it, like it touches it and like just so like the Leitz like has that sort of like relationship with chochmah. Moshe?
I would say that the Leitz it seems the Leitz has absolutely no methodology for chochmah. So even if you were trying to obtain it, that he would have no hope of getting any.
Yeah.
But for someone like the Navon, who I guess is really accustomed to learning in general, could even he knows a way to even reach Das.
Okay, that raises a question we didn't ask, which is how does the Leitz? Yeah, just saying, how does the Leitz seek wisdom? This is kind of related to the other question, which is like, is he using like effective methods, but he doesn't find it because when he encounters it, then I know this kind of like front loading what we said into the question here, then like he distorts or rejects it, or is he not even using the right methods? Yeah, you want to add?
Yeah, I was gonna add it from the perspective of the Navon.
Yeah.
Like how is the Navon able to, for him to be easy? I think it's because like if he's not again, I don't know how absolute this is, but like he's removing his feelings associated with the objective truth. He's removing himself from
the equation, right?
From the exactly, like he's because like who really distorts truth? It's ourselves.
Right.
We distort it.
Right.
So like and Navon is able to remove himself from the truth.
Yeah.
And that's why like he's able to filter out the garbage from the truth.
Right. Okay, now we got a stew brewing here, right? Okay, which is that the subject seems to be something about how character defects or perfections will influence the search for chochmah or the search for knowledge. I don't know what you want to call it exactly. And that's the framework in which the two are opposites, is that the Leitz is like coated with chochmah repellent, and the Navon has removed anything that could impede his attaining of Das. Okay, this is a good approach. Yeah.
So I was gonna say literally the exact same thing, except that nakal I was gonna translate as light was easy. It's really like the Das to him is light because it doesn't affect his values, or his his feelings.
Yeah, there's definitely an expression that Chazal use. I don't know if Tanakh uses it, but I mean, we use it in English also. Like it weighs heavily upon you. Like it creates this tremendous pressure or whatever. And then not from the Navon, it doesn't create pressure because it's objective. And either in the investigation, he's able to remove any feelings of resistance to that and be able to see it clearly, or his personality. I guess this depends on how we define Navon. His personality is such that it readily yields to the results of his inquiry, so he doesn't even like experience that tension. Yeah, David?
Two different things.
Yeah.
One, I think something from what Moshe had been saying before, that I think there's also these people, like their external circumstances that they have set up for themselves, I think very much lead to these two different things, where the Leitz doesn't have any, really the Navon has very much a support system and a lot of other people around him who are already involved in chochmah, all that type of area. So it's very easy for him either to go around to other people and that's just already what's happening around him, or even if he's just passive, there are people that are just constantly coming to him with ideas.
Right.
I think on the flip side of that with the Leitz, that he's around people that have no ideas, and he is, even if he weren't researching, like the people around him, if he were to go to anybody else, there's nothing there.
Right. Okay. So I think that's definitely a true point. I don't think that that's a point that the pasuk is saying, because it's not really emphasizing the social context or like the other people. Like it seems like this approach is more reliable, that the pasuk is highlighting their own personal qualities, not how the group affects it.
That's fair. I still would think with that in part of the bakasha this Leitz is doing, what he's practically how this is going to be happening. There's going to be, presumably there will be interaction between other people. It's not just going to be the person sitting on their own and meditating.
Right. I could hear that. I mean, I think though that you can search for it. Bekius does not necessarily mean like requesting it from individual people, but I would say the thing that would give me an opening to say your idea is if one of the two halves were plural, then I'd be like, okay, then that's just talking about like what was that?
In what way?
Because if it said Bikshu Leitzim chochmah v'ayin, then that is highlighting like because of the type of people that the Leitz hangs around, just kind of like in the let's say like in the first pasuk of Tehillim, Asher ish asher lo halach ba'atzas Rishaim u'v'derech hatayim lamad u'v'moshav leitim lo yashav. So if you're talking about a moshav leitim or a group of leitim, then I'd be like saying, okay, yeah, this could be highlighting that. I think this is talking though about the individual qualities and how his individual qualities are an obstacle. Yeah, Ezra?
This might be crazy, but is it possible that when it says das l'navon nakal, it means light, meaning it would like somebody who's very good at understanding things.
Yeah.
He's not going to recognize the value, and it'll seem light to him, just because of how like he's very smart, so he's not going to really see the value in it necessarily.
So, are you saying that as a negative?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is a creative reading. So I don't think there's anything problem with reading it that way, unless the word nakal doesn't mean that. Didn't we have? Was our pasuk on Monday? What was our pasuk on Monday?
This past Monday?
Yeah. Lo yachroch. Oh yeah. Lo yachroch. Rumia tzedo. V'hon adam yakar. Charutz. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with what I was saying? No, because I was thinking because he values it and the other one doesn't value. No, it doesn't say the word. But yeah. All right. Only reason so there's one potential reason to reject it, and then one reason that I'm not inclined towards it. The potential reason is we'd have to see whether nakal is used to mean like undervalued. Let's just see for kicks. Not that this is going to answer the question. Let's just see what the BDB says. Nakal is not a word I've ever seen, by the way. Call we see, but nakal I haven't seen. Slight, swift, trifling. See, all right, so that supports it. Okay. Trifling. Oh wait. This was in Vatekal Gavir Tab Einaha, right? So she made light of her mistress in her eyes. Or Vatomar Sarai El Avram Chamasian Alecha Anochi Nasati Yishiv Chasi B'Chikak V'Terki Harasa Va'ekal Be'einaha. Right, so that's the other side. I'm just trying to think if there's any other ones that we might know. Do I know? You may have six. Yiraku Eshever Amir Al Nikala Lemor. No, that's not. It's difficult. What about Proverbs 14:6? This is what we're doing, right? Okay, fine. I don't know these guys. All right, so that linguistically we have a support. The only reason I'm not inclined towards it is there is such a thing in Mishlei of a pasuk where both halves are negative. What I am either not used to seeing or have never seen, I don't know, is when Mishlei has a negative Mishlei personality and says something negative, and a positive Mishlei personality and says something negative. You know, I don't know if that genre exists. Right. Definitely two negatives and saying two negatives about it does exist though. But and then I think the third reason why I'm not inclined towards it is, to me, it seems like both from personal experience and then from the chachamim that I know and from the way that chochmah is talked about, is the more involvement you have with chochmah, the more you'll appreciate it.
Right.
You know.
So, right, I'm not saying that this guy is necessary. I'm saying it's speaking of a Navon in the sense of somebody who's like very smart.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that he's like learning all that.
Okay.
But it's somebody who knowledge comes easy to them.
Right.
Because of that.
Okay. Okay. So I will say an application of that, regardless of what the pasuk is saying it, I see this problem a lot with, for some reason, there's a lot of people in my circles, not just in yeshiva, who went into teaching this year, you know, and one of the first lessons you learn about teaching is you realize how much you take certain things for granted and how you take certain processes or certain ideas and you just take it as very easy. And you don't realize that someone who's at a much lower level struggles with attaining that, you know, and I think that that's a good example of what you're describing here. Right. Yeah. Very interesting idea. I want to let it roll around a little bit. Yeah, David?
I also said something to the effect of like a more chochmah fotiyat.
Yeah.
And as far as them,
that's say to chochmah, you're my sister. Yeah. Like Avram did about. No. Yeah.
Then so far as their personalities, the Navon will have a much easier time getting this because he knows what it looks like as he's
very familiar, right?
Important, and the Leitz has none of that.
Okay, yeah. So that is another important note, which is that each of these the problem and the solutions compound, right? That because the Leitz has this quality that we're saying that repels chochmah from him, that itself makes it more difficult for him to become acquainted with it and makes it further out of his reach. Whereas the Navon, his familiarity with it will make him able to spot it more and get it more, and it's a virtuous cycle. Yeah.
I just want to try to summarize what we're talking
Sure,
about?
I was going to write a summary as well.
Yeah.
So why don't you summarize and then I'll
So
write something.
The Leitz, because of his character and history.
Yeah. His character in history, say it again?
Yeah.
Oh, character and history.
Character and
I think his character in history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chronicles of Leitz, yeah.
He's like basically he's like has set himself up for failure, and when like even if he does happen to seek chochmah,
Yeah.
he's already set himself up for failure. It's kind of like a person who has like a field that they like blow dandelion seeds all over it.
Yeah.
And then when he wants to plant crops, it's just covered in weeds.
Yeah. Right.
And then whereas like the Navon has got this like field all like prepared.
Right.
Yeah. So whereas it is so the Navon has like set himself up. He has made it so that his character is such that he doesn't have any like conflicts or problems acquiring even the highest levels of knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to just put this into my own words here. So the subject of the pasuk is how a person's character, and this I think we still need to refine. Okay, is is this like their, because Leitz is a quality that we think of extending to, like, for lack of a better term, like his ethical character. Navon is something we think of as intellectual character. So I want to like explore that space there and see, like, yeah.
Well, I thought.
Okay, sure. All right.
Sorry, can you explain what you want to explore about this?
Meaning that Leitz, like let's say like what Ezra was saying, is that the in order for the Leitz to sustain his zadon and his yehirus, then that's what repels the chochmah. So those are like ethical imperfections, whereas Navon, meaning like midos.
Yeah.
Right. Navon we think of as intellectual perfections, and yeah, there is an intellectual perfection of not allowing your midos to like, affect your investigation. But I just want to leave this in open parentheses right now for the summary here. So the subject, how a person's character either like repels or removes barriers to knowledge. Okay, so the Leitz, is someone who's who I guess is addicted to behavior that is antithetical to chochmah. Therefore, even if he should happen to look for it, which I think is how we're saying it, right? In other words, like even a Leitz, let's say for example, Leitz is preparing for a debate, okay, and he is engaging in the debate so he can mock the opposition, so he has to like do some research or whatever. He's still not going to be able to like find things that are objective, okay. So you should happen to look for it. He will either be blind to it, or he'll distort it, and then I'll add what David said in parentheses also, or he won't have the proper social network to facilitate finding it.
Is there another thing you could say that I don't know if this is what you mean by blind to it, but maybe like he is able to see it, but he just can't process it for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna fit into either one of the two, but yeah, I would agree with you though. Yeah. Okay, and then in contrast, the Navon has either like attained the perfection of not allowing his emotions to distort or to interfere with his knowledge acquisition, or he has cultivated his personality to yield to the results of his inquiry. That's another thing that I think is in the parentheses here of how perfected are we saying this Navon is, so therefore, not only will he be able to find chochmah, which I guess we were kind of implicitly saying is like the lowest level of knowledge, whether facts or received information. But even da'as, which I'm going to go ahead and plug in the Rabbeinu Yonah idea of da'as that we did when we define the three, is he said that I think what we said was chochmah is the facts, bina is what we call like svara from the facts, but then da'as, Rabbeinu Yonah associates to the pasuk that says das kedoshim, which means that you're not abstracting from facts, you're abstracting from abstractions. It's like the higher level. It's like yardstick shiur, shavuot shiur type, where you're like or I think what we said is intuition that can operate even in an area where you don't have facts. So the highest level, which is the let's just say the highest. Why did this freeze? Why is the cursor gone? The highest level of knowledge that even the highest level of knowledge will not be interfered with by his own emotions. Yeah. For some reason I can't type the rest of this. Last thing and I gotta stop. Yeah.
The quick thing about the character of the Navon.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to be someone who, in order to be someone who is able to get insights, you have to be very comfortable with realizing that things aren't the way that you thought they were. And I think that's a prerequisite to being a Navon.
Yeah.
Which is I think that is the opposite of the Leitz.
Okay.
Because
right.
The Leitz is assuming things are the way he thinks they are.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going to add that as a note here, which is the Leitz. How do you say it for the Leitz again? The Leitz assumes
things are the way he thinks they are.
Okay. Assumes that things are the way he thinks they are or wants them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Navon?
In order to become a Navon, you have to become comfortable with realizing that things aren't the way.
Okay, right. Whereas the Navon is comfortable with the idea that things are. Just say that one more time. Are
comfortable with realizing that things aren't the way
you think they are. Okay, fine. And I just want to note Ezra's reading, Ezra Fader's reading here, is that maybe this is a criticism of the Navon, that because knowledge comes so easy to him, we can't say it comes so easy, because of his relationship with knowledge, he thinks it's easier than it's light in his eyes. Yeah, it's light in his eyes. It's light in his eyes.
How does this idea compare to your idea from computers ago?
I don't think I have time to go into this. I gotta run to class. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Yeah. Fun pasuk. Okay.